Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University School of Humanities, SOH. Certificate Program in Functional English, Basic Level, CFE. BEG 00 for English in Daily Life. Block-1 The World Around Us. Unit-4 Describing Daily Events. 4.0 Objectives. We all know the importance of maintaining discipline in our daily lives. Sticking to a time schedule and managing our time in the most effective and constructive manner produces amazing results. In this unit, you will read about a florist and her daily routine, the benefits of a well-regulated lifestyle, are immense as can be seen in the unit. In the listening section, you will listen to a speech on time management, and in the grammar section, you will learn about linkers and how to use them correctly. Under the writing activity, a planner has been designed which will help you to schedule your activities in a more planned and effective manner. 4.1 Warm UP. This world goes on with the help of people who do what their jobs demand of them. They manage their time efficiently and with consistency and regularity. Go about their work in the most disciplined manner. Think about someone. Anyone, it could be a newsreader, a newspaper delivery boy, a postman, your teacher, the butcher in the market. Anyone. Write a paragraph about his or her daily life. 4.2 Reading Comprehension, From Dawn to Dusk. Read the passage and answer the questions below. Early to bed and early to rise makes Jack healthy, wealthy, and wise. My life revolves around this concept, and I wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning. Switch off the alarm clock and spring out of bed. After drinking a nice hot cup of tea and preparing my lunch, I set out to face what the day has in store for me. I am a florist by profession and am self-employed. Right in the middle of the hustle-bustle of a metropolis, I own a little shop which stocks flowers, called Flourish Fauna. At around 7:30 I go to the suburbs to buy beautiful fresh flowers at cheap rates, so as to get more variety there at reasonable rates. As soon as I reach the city, it is no longer as I had left it. It is bustling with activity. At my shop, my assistants, Hamid and Abdul, help me open and decorate it with the beautiful flowers procured by me. As the arm of the clock strikes 9, the shutters of my shop open with customers pouring in from all over the city, mothers buying flowers for their children, or just to decorate their houses with the colorful blooms, students wanting to gift their teachers, or fellow shopkeepers drop in to have a little chat or buy something for their wives or mothers. But the first to enter every alternate day is Mrs. Amina, the grandmother of a little boy in my neighborhood, called Raza, who always buys white roses with ferns. Lunch for me begins at around 2:30 or 3:00 depending upon the customers. Nasir, my friend, who works in the shop next to mine selling electrical fittings, joins me for lunch. Since the number of customers reduces in the afternoon due to the overhead blazing sun, we have a nice chat as well. I close my shop at around 8:30 in the evening after closing the shutters and bidding my assistants goodbye. I reach home in an hour's time. I prepare my dinner, which is usually the lightest meal of my day. After watching the 10 o'clock news, I switch off the TV to retire for the night. Although my day begins early and I wind up late, I love my work and I want to keep on expanding my business. Despite my mundane routine, I am thankful to God for giving me the gift called life. I believe in punctuality and regularity in work. Along with this, I also believe in honesty and sincerity, which is why, perhaps, I am successful. 4.3 Vocabulary, Word Search. Activity 2. 1. Find words in the passage whose meanings have been given below. City dweller. Area that is outside the center of the city. People moving about in a busy manner. To make something look more attractive by putting things on it. Extremely hot sun. Sensible. Obtained. Flowers. To look at the jumbled words below and find the names of some. Professionals. Find out what work they do by looking at the dictionary. 1. Totonsar. 2. Yulsik. 3. Tsichati. 4. Teetsinix. V. Fopusro. 6. Sertiras. 4.4 Grammar, linkers. Conjunctions or linkers are words used to join other words, groups of words or sentences. We use and to join similar facts or statements. Conjunctions belonging to this group are and, moreover, as well as. Asterisk early to bed and early to rise. Asterisk the driver applied the brakes and the car stopped. We use but to express opposition or contrast. Conjunctions of this group are but, yet, however. Asterisk I sent him an urgent message but he didn't come. Asterisk her interview didn't go well, yet she was given the job. Because suggests the reason for something. Other conjunctions that can express reason are since, as. Asterisk we haven't shifted to our new house because it hasn't been painted as yet. Although, even though, even if suggest contrast. Asterisk although my day begins early, I wind up late. Asterisk we won't support him even though he is a dear friend. Asterisk one won't work for them even if they offer me double my present salary. When suggests time. Other conjunctions suggesting time are as, while, SJNC, until, before, aftex, as soon as asterisk I'll ring up after I reach the office. Asterisk since the number of customers reduce in the afternoon, Nasir and I have a nice chat. Mother prepared dinner for me while I changed my dress. Where and wherever suggest place. 4.5 Speaking, interview. Activity 4. 1. Imagine you are a student and have been asked to interview the florist you read about for your college magazine. Make a list of about 6 questions that you would like to ask her. Some of the questions could be about her daily routine and others about anything you write like to know. For example, how do you spend your evenings or weekdays? How do you spend your weekends? What kind of flowers do you like to keep? Why did you choose this profession? 2. Imagine you are the florist. Answer the questions you are asked. You may consult the text material as well as invent suitable answers for questions whose answers aren't available from the text. For example, Q. Where do you go to buy the flowers and why? A. I go to the suburbs where I get a variety of flowers at very reasonable rates. 4.6 Listening, time management tips for students. 1. Here is an extract from a speech given by a school counselor to students on how to manage their time most effectively and constructively so as to produce the best possible results and achieve the goals they have set for themselves. To summarize the tips given by the counselor for your friend who was absent on the day it was given. Begin with time management is one of the most important factors that determine our success or failure. We should make a list of the most important things and then prioritize them. 4.7 Let us sum up. In this unit we have used the example of an ordinary florist to describe the daily routine of an ordinary person. We have given you 3 activities in the vocabulary section which will improve your word power. The grammar section deals with linkers. The listening section is a talk on time management where the activity involves summarizing the talk. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University School of Social Sciences, SOSS. Bachelor of Arts, Honours, History, BAFHI. Semester I. BANS183 Tourism Anthropology. Block-1 Understanding Tourism. Unit-1 Introduction to Anthropology and Tourism. 1.0 Introduction. Let's start this section with memories of your last vacation. What do you remember most about the vacation? Probably the scenic beauty, the food, the sunrise sunset, or the monuments of historical importance, depending on the place you visited. Not to forget the pictures that had captured all your memories for eternity. These pictures again might have been posted on many social networking sites and have become a part of your lived memories. Well, by now you must be wondering, what has these memories got to do with a course on tourism anthropology? Going back to your vacation, if you reflect, you would realize that a host of activities were going on behind the scene, right from the time you started planning for a vacation. Searching online on websites for a place to visit, booking your tickets, making arrangement for your stay, local travel, etc. Tourism anthropology studies all these behind-the-scene activities relating tourism with economic, political and social life of a particular place. It also studies how tourism affects the culture of both the host and tourist, popularly known as guest in the tourism industry and tourism anthropology. We will start with the very basics in this unit by defining anthropology and tourism, followed by an anthropological perspective on tourism and the need to study tourism in anthropology. The unit would further look into the aspects, prospects and impacts of tourism. 1.1 Anthropology and Tourism. Concepts and definitions. 1.1.1 Defining anthropology. What is anthropology? Anthropology seeks to understand the lives of human beings in time and space. Time basically reflects the geological time scale that involves the study of human evolution, growth and variation. Space deals with the ecological and environmental relationship of human populations that inhabits the various places on Earth. Anthropology also involves the study of the past cultures and how the present cultures are flourishing. It is the study of human beings in totality, unlike other subjects where only a particular aspect of human being is taken into account. Like history deals with what happened in the past, while psychology studies the human mind, etc. The term anthropology is derived from two Greek words, anthropos, meaning who, man, and logos, for study or science. What we study in anthropology. Anthropology as an academic discipline emerged at the turn of the 20th century, with four main branches: A. Physical or biological anthropology. B. Social and cultural anthropology. C. Archaeological anthropology and D. Linguistic anthropology. The subject matter looks at both the scientific and humanistic perspectives. It takes into account a holistic approach to study humankind. The anthropologists aim at understanding three basic questions: who we are, study of the past and the present, how we came to be, origin and evolution, and why we are the way we are, variations. These three major questions form the basis for the study of human beings in anthropology. Be it the social, the biological, the archaeological, or the linguistic anthropologists, the aim is to understand the origin, evolution, variation, diversity and change that has marked human lives, society and culture living in different environmental conditions. The physical biological anthropologists are interested in understanding the origin, evolution, variation and development of human species. The curiosity to know why there is variations in skin, eye, hair color, etc., leads them to inquire about the existence of human variation and to try and find scientific explanations behind such variations. Why some people are short while others are tall. The genetic makeup of human beings is studied along with the role that environment place in such variations. To know more about the past, the primates are taken into consideration in anthropological studies under primatology. The study of society and culture falls within the rubric of social and cultural anthropology. The foremost contribution of the subject has been in the understanding of the various societies and cultures across the globe, both objectively and subjectively, doing away with biases and prejudices while presenting their relative importance. Social and cultural anthropology seeks to understand the social institutions and the cultural attributes that constructs human societies in a holistic manner. Anthropologists' interest in the past, how people lived during the different cultural periods, is the subject matter of archaeological anthropology. The aim is to reconstruct the human past through the study of the different tool types used by prehistoric man, of which there are no written records. The study of cave arts, the stone tools of the different cultural periods within the Paleolithic, Mesolithic and the Neolithic period, the arts and artifacts of the Chalcolithic periods and the past civilizations, dating the past through absolute and relative dating methods are some of the ways how the life of the prehistoric human beings is recreated. Language is known as the vehicle for culture. Yet there is no single culture nor a single language. Communications, however, has always been there between people speaking different languages. Linguistic anthropology involves the study of the languages that have been a medium of communication among people belonging to different linguistic groups. It includes not only verbal languages, but both body and sign language. A recent study has shown a village in Turkey where people communicate via whistling. Some of the dialects are fast disappearing in the face of modernization and globalization. Preserving and documenting such dialects forms a major activity of the linguistic anthropologists. How we study anthropology. The emergence of anthropology is rooted in the European journey of exploration and colonization of the East. During the early years, the anthropologists known as armchair anthropologists did not venture out for data collection into the field. The earliest written accounts, like the Golden Bough published in 1890 by Sir James Fraser, was based on the narrations of the travelers, the administrators, the missionaries, etc., who traveled to far-off places and brought back exotic stories of the lands, peoples and their cultures. With time, anthropology was established as a field science and fieldwork became the hallmark of anthropological study. Malinowski's work among the Trobriand Islanders is reckoned with as the way forward for conducting scientific fieldwork among their natives using participant observation, interview, and case study methods. Living with the people under study for a long period of time, ideally 1 year, and using the local language are some of the take away from Malinowski's work that even today forms the backbone of anthropological studies. The significance of fieldwork lies in understanding 3 basic questions. What people think they ought to do. Ideal behavior. What people say they do. What people actually do. Actual behavior. The data collected is based on the lives of the people with whom the anthropologists comes in close contact during his/her stay in the field. The idea is to gather the insider's view, and not just study the people objectively. Subjectivity plays a major role in anthropological studies, where the anthropologist's aim is to understand the relativeness of the society and its cultures, with the catchwords being here and now. This applies for the rituals, customs, norms, values and other practices which might seem irrational, crude and not humanistic to an outsider, for a person from the Western world who visits an Eastern place. Definitions of anthropology. American Anthropological Association defines anthropology as the study of humans, past and present. To understand the full sweep and complexity of cultures across all of human history, anthropology draws and builds upon knowledge from the social and biological sciences as well as the humanities and physical sciences. A central concern of anthropologists is the application of knowledge to the solution of human problems. Wolff, 1964, states anthropology is less a subject matter than a bond between subject matters. It is in part history, part literature, in part natural science, part social science. It strives to study men both from within and without. It represents both a manner of looking at man and a vision of man, the most scientific of the humanities, the most humanist of sciences. Wolff E.R. 1964 Anthropology. Trustees of Princeton University, USA. Herskowitz, Physical Anthropology is, in essence, human biology. M.N. Srinivas described social anthropology as, it is a comparative study of human societies. Ideally, it includes all societies, primitive, civilized and historic. Anthropology as a subject seeks to disseminate, apply their knowledge gathered through the understanding of the biological, social, cultural and archaeological aspects of human life for the solving practical problems in the present. Applied or practicing anthropology thus emerged as a new subfield with the four main branches of anthropology. Anthropology strives to understand correlation between environment and culture, and how this has an impact over the growth and development of humankind. 1.1.2 Defining tourism. Tourism has a long history and is widespread in the cultures of humankind. It is an important social fact in the life of contemporary people. It is one of the major industries of the world and a developmental tool for many third world countries. Nash and Smith, 1991, 12. Smith in her book, Hosts and Guests. The Anthropology of Tourism, 1989, in the introduction defines tourist as a temporary leisured person who voluntarily visits a place for the purpose of experiencing a change. She explains that the motivations for individuals to travel are many and varied, but the foundation of tourism rests on three key elements, i.e., tourism is equal to leisure time plus discretionary income plus positive local sanctions. As per Smith, the amount of time a person has and the discretionary income that is not needed for personal essentials like food, clothing, housing, healthcare, transportation, etc., and the positive cultural sanctions favoring tourism allow an individual to take a break from the regular monotonous life. Tourism as an activity allows an individual to alternate his/her work life with small periods of relaxation. J. Jaffrey, 1977, defined tourism as a study of man away from his usual habitat, of the industry which responds to his needs, and the impact that both he, she and the industry have on the host socio-cultural, economic and physical environments. Mathieson and Wall, 1982, in their book Tourism. Economic, physical and social impacts defined tourism as a multifaceted phenomenon which involves movement to and stay in destinations outside the normal place of residence and comprises dynamic, static and consequential elements. While Jaffrey's definition gives a holistic view, Mathieson and Walls describe tourism as a phenomenon. Other scholars like Greenwood, 1989, 171, while discussing about anthropological perspective on tourism as cultural commoditization, defined tourism as the large-scale movement of goods, services and people that humanity has perhaps ever seen. Lett, 1989, 275, credited tourism with bringing about the single largest peaceful movement of people across cultural boundaries in the history of the world. Anthropologists have a hard time in defining tourism for the simple reason that it involves various dimensions, but as Van Husrael in his book Tourism and Exploration, 1994, opined that there are four primary elements of tourism. These are travel demand, tourism intermediaries, destination influences and range of impacts. Later during 1990s, a postmodern and humanistic perspective outlined the description of tourism. Ryan, 1991, defined tourism as an experience of place. It was argued that tourism is not about the tourist destination but it is about the experience of that place and what happens there, which includes a series of internal and external interactions. The humanistic and experiential paradigm allows to cover the experiences of both the host and the guest population. Another altogether different view was provided by Middleton, 1998, with a focus on tourism as business and the tourist as a customer. He opines that although travel and tourism is invariably identified as an industry, it is best understood as a total market which reflects the cumulative demand and consumption patterns of visitors for a wide range of travel-related products. There are many other ways in which tourism can be studied, however, it must never be isolated from its political, natural, economic or social environments. While discussing tourism and postmodernism, Uri, 1992, explained tourism as a leisure activity which is opposite to the regulated and organized work. Tourism relationships arise from a movement of people to, and their stay in various destinations, sites which are outside the normal places of residence and work. And a substantial proportion of the population of modern societies engages in such touristic activity. The site destination is chosen with an anticipation of pleasure seeking and sight gazing. In his book The Tourist Gaze, Uri also outlined how globalization that has transformed countless aspects of our social lives and has resulted in the time-space compression, people have been brought closer and there is a rapid flow of travelers and tourists moving across national borders. Because of the magnitude of the tourism industry, the great complexity of tourist motivations and expectations and the diversity of cultural responses to tourist travels, it has been difficult to provide a comprehensive view definition of tourism. But social scientists and particularly anthropologists have covered various aspects on tourism. In the coming section we would discuss about the development of anthropology of tourism and understand various anthropological perspectives on tourism. 1 point to history of tourism anthropology. The anthropology of tourism that started in the 1960s and 1970s as a distinct field of study which is relatively a new branch both within the academic and applied anthropology. The anthropological study of tourism has grown impressively since 1970s and early 1980s when Valene Smith, 1977, Malcolm Crick, 1995, 1989, Denizen Nash, 1977, 1981, Nelson Graburn, 1977, 1983A, and Eric Cohen, 1974, 1979b 1984, among others brought attention to the field by their contributions. Earlier anthropologists may have been reluctant to investigate these phenomena because tourism was considered too close to what anthropologists do themselves when they are in the field. Crick, 1995. Tourism was not on the charts of anthropological inquiry until Valene Smith's work Hosts and Guests. The Anthropology of Tourism was first published in 1977. Decade later with the second edition of the book in 1989, the anthropology of tourism had become more popular and was being regarded as a valid, applied area of study. Having acquired enough anthropological legitimacy and with the publication of journals like the Annals of Tourism Research, the Anthropology of Tourism now covers a wide range of aspects and themes. Scholars like Philip Pears, 1982, contributed towards the social psychology of tourism. Graburn, 1977, looked at Tourism as a form of escapism or pleasure-seeking mechanism, Nash's work discussed the consequential aspects of the relationship between tourists and the host population. Selvin 1994 studied tourism from the economic, political, social, and cultural contexts. Uri 1990 did a systematic study of tourist motivation from a social science perspective. Boysaven 1996 did a longitudinal study of tourism and commoditization of the host culture. Cohen in 1988 studied the typology of tourists. Dan 1997, in his work, had proposed that research must contribute towards sustainable tourism. These studies have contributed immensely towards anthropological perspective on tourism. Let's summarize from the above anthropological works about the relevance of anthropology for tourism studies. A. Anthropologists argue that people rather than business should be the heart of analysis of tourism. B. Anthropology as a discipline offers critical analysis of tourism by recognizing the economic, environmental, and social domains within the bigger framework of today's globalized world. C. With its in-depth, qualitative approach, anthropology stands in a unique position to study human dynamics and tourism. D. As a discipline with a field-based and ethnographic approach, anthropology seeks to gain primary information on the impacts of tourism, helps in studying the variety of phenomena in different locations in order to gain an insight on the common trends in tourism, and E. With its holistic approach, anthropology allows the study of cross-cultural encounters and social transactions that happen in a touristic activity. The current anthropological thinking is that tourism is too complex and there is a need to thread together a number of issues. There is a need to see the cultural impact of tourism and also have deeper understanding of local global relationships shaped by tourism. Various anthropological perspectives have been employed to have a greater understanding of the nature of tourism and its effect on the structure of the society. 1.3 Anthropological perspectives on tourism. Anthropological interest in tourism began in the 1970s and today it is a well-established area of inquiry with hopeful signs of future development in both basic and applied research. As a subject, tourism fits easily into anthropological concerns, as both the disciplines involve humans and their culture. The study of tourism in anthropology has arisen from an anthropological concern with culture contact and culture change. Anthropologists began to see the tourist as an agent of contact between cultures, and directly or indirectly the cause of change, particularly in the less developed regions of the world. Nash 1989, 37. In their studies on tourism, anthropologists have tried to define tourism as a form of leisure activity and tourists to be leisured travelers. With this preliminary understanding, it is now known that tourism is to be seen as a practice and tourists are seen as people who travel to other places where they encounter hosts, and such a give-and-take affects the tourists, their hosts, and their home cultures. And also, this touristic activity can become a touristic system as it is embedded in the larger social context. Nash 1981, 462. The anthropologists initially limited their concerns with the transactions between the tourists and the hosts, studied the culture contact and its influences particularly on the host society, and this touristic influence had practical implications for host governments and international agencies who were involved in development. But further research revealed that it was this one-sided conclusion seen from a host country's point of view. Tourism was seen to have both good and bad sides. As Cohen, 1979a, 32, in his report on the impact of tourism on a Thai planned village, initially had opined that the influence of tourism on the region was bad for the Thai host, but after the conclusion of his study he was of the opinion that tourism would not have a destructive impact on the host society in the near future.